4-inch piece of glass in my foot, and nobody knew. Okay, so here's the best part: is it like went straight in, so there was only like a small, like maybe inch section that was sticking out. It was probably like an inch and a half long, but sticking out like a little bit. So my dad's like, "Oh, it's not in there that much." I had hobbled all the way inside, trying to stay on the ball of my foot. So that way
it was a pretty good distance.
So I had to walk, and it was a long way, and it was up a hill, and in the house, and like upstairs. So I go in the house, and I'm like, Mom.
He was like Stewie off of Family Guy. Like, do I take it out, or do we leave it in?
Something's wrong. So I was a kid, and I remember, so my mom was like, I'm going to get your dad, and my dad came in, and he's like, okay. Get some.
Because our dad was always the I'm
doctor.
Going to remove it.
He's like, I'll patch that bone up. No need to go into the hospital. Walk it off. You'll be all right.
Rub some dirt on it.
Yeah, rub some dirt on it, and that was okay because that's how things went.
Take some tuss and you'll be all right.
So anyway, he's like, doesn't look that deep. So he starts pulling it, and it just keeps going, and it was much narrower, so it started bleeding already pretty bad. So he had to pull it all the rest of the way out, and then it was even longer. Like I remember there was like a second like slow down pause when he was pulling it out, and I was a young kid. I was probably 10 at that time, and I was like, that deep breathing, serious.
Yeah,
thing.
you were too young to take a shot of liquor, so.
So I was like, so he pulled it out, and then the little Band-Aid that they had taken out in preparation for this thing was not gonna cut
Sufficient.
it, so we dabbed it with a towel for a little bit, and that did not work at all. So we switched to like tourniquet towel method, and then they hoped it would heal. Like I don't know how else to put it, but it healed up. Like we didn't go to the doctor.
Hey, I hope it heals up, because if it don't, you're gonna die.
Wing and a prayer, dude. Wing and a prayer.
Gangrene.
I don't want to have to bring in the doctor in the next few days.
Well, looks like we're gonna have to amputate.
It was fine. I just had to seriously patch it up, and that was the same year that I pulled that rock out of my knee.
Oh
that was nasty too.
What?
I had fallen in the driveway the day we moved. I still remember this. Graham's driveway used to be gravel. And I was playing around the day we left. And before we got in the car, I fell. I think it was on a bike. I fell and got gravel all dug in my knee. And I was like, I was bleeding. I was a tough kid, jumping bikes off of, 2x4s and thinking I was cool. And anyway, I slid in the driveway, got a bunch of, I was like, it's just bleeding a little bit. Kind of gave it a brush, and then got in the car and left. And then, like, 4 years later, I'm on the playground playing football, and I got knocked and fell on the tarmac and skidded on my knee. And it literally flipped open this piece of skin with this, like, half-inch, maybe not quite half-inch, like, long rock. And, like, it was just... The flap of skin had like connected to the rock, and there was just a hole. It didn't even bleed. It was crazy. It was crazy. So then they sent me home for that because the nurse is like, I have no idea what to do with this.
Should we plug an advisory for this episode? Because that's kind of gross,
it's
dude.
so great.
That's not that bad.
I had so many cool injuries when I was a kid.
I want to hear them. I really do.
I had so much fun doing all that stuff. That was I was right on the last edge of it, I feel like, where we were just outside on bikes the whole time, and just like come back before dark, go.
Oh, you better be home before that street light comes on.
And and they'd give you different, like, come home at 6 or whatever, but it was just a different time. I had a blast biking everywhere because we lived in a small city with all sorts of trails around, and you could just hop on the trail and go for miles and miles and miles and miles on the bike. And I do that, and then after a while I got bored with that, and it was like really cool to watch BMX and stuff back in the day. And there was an old quarry that was like long since abandoned, and it was just one small where the machine went in. And it made a perfect bowl to do. You go down the long side, and then you jump the short side, and you land a few feet away. Or you could jump off of what we call the corner. And it was like right after the machine went in, after a while, almost straight up edge was there. So you go off the long side, and then you'd pick up speed, and then you could go off the corner. And if you went off the corner, you had to be a little bit crazy, because it was just like the half pipes. You would go straight up into the air, and you had to be able to twist it around. And I thought...
Okay, now Dylan was a chunky monkey.
I was chunky, and I was also
fat kid on a bike.
A mountain bike with shocks. And I thought I was going to BMX this. And because I did jumps all the time. I love doing jumps. I would love to try it to this day, except for I know...
You thought you were the next Matt Hoffman.
I'd break more bones. No, I didn't think I was any good at it. I just loved doing it. I know it's not...
Dylan was always the thrill seeker.
Yes.
Which explains why he went through so many bikes.
So anyway, I decided I was going to show up my friends. I was like, you got a BMX bike and you can't do this. Ha ha. You know, all sorts of shit? 90s insults ensuing, you know. Cause that's
Yo, mama.
So I go pick up crazy speed because I'm a moron, apparently. And I hit the dive and went down, and then I said my favorite 2 words in the whole English language.
Oh, fuck.
Fuck it. And I hit that corner jump, and I went
your next 2 words were, oh, shit.
Yep. 10-12 feet up in the air. I mean, I was double the height of my friends. I know everyone's like, oh, that's too high. I was going very fast on a mountain bike and on a shortened half pipe. It was a very interesting and dangerous place to jump. It was anyway. So I flew up in the air, and somewhere in the middle of it, I realized
you were gonna eat shit.
I have seen this on TV. It's not like it's like those commercials as seen on TV, and then it's never what you see on TV. It's exactly what happened because I wasn't Matt Hoffman. I was just.
This is more like don't try this at home.
Bike. It's like the people of Jackass channeled my energy from this time period because it was the most foolish. Well, not the most foolish, but it was up there with my foolish moments. Because I knew it was not safe at all. Okay, and keep in mind, we had no helmet. The only padding was how much, mashed potatoes I had the night before. So I fly off this jump, and at some point I realized that I'm sideways and I'm off the seat and I'm off the pedals and I'm just shot. There's no chance of me landing this, and 100% of me never having children in my life. So I kick the bike as hard as I can. So
good move.
Keep in mind, I was several feet in the air, and all this happened in a very quick speed. I was young and had not made other foolish decisions yet. And so I kick the bike as far away as I can, and then I do the stupid thing of trying to turn, and I put my left hand down to brace myself. I don't know how I thought the compacted dirt and clay that was dry was going to in any way give or cushion me at all, but my wrist hurt very, very bad afterwards. And after a few days of the dirt not working, I went to the hospital, and I had a broken
You
wrist.
skipped the part where you went and played basketball after you broke your wrist.
That was the reasoning, is I played basketball afterwards because all my friends were going, and I had just did the really cool thing of doing this jump.
Of eating shit.
And totally busting my butt. And it was a sight to see. It was one of those things where, in the Sandlot where they slow things down and it's running, there's music. It was one of those moments in your childhood where your friends are like, oh, I can't believe he did it. Holy crap. It was so everyone was excited, and we were going to play basketball, and I was like, man, my wrist hurts. So I just played with one hand. I toughed it out. I was like, yeah, I did some cool stuff, and now I'm going to play basketball because I'm not going to let anything, hurt me. And then for the next 3 days... This
broken wrist ain't shit.
So the next 3 days, I had to tough it out and just try to not let anyone notice. And I told my dad that I hurt myself, but he was like, if you went and played basketball, you're fine.
Well, yeah, if you were a smart kid.
And it wasn't really swollen or anything like that. So yeah, 3 days later, we went to the doctor and got X-rays and all that stuff, and it was one of those twist fractures, green stick. My left wrist all the way up. It was like green sticks. You know how they break, but they're because young bones do that. Stay connected, but it's broken. Like
it's splintered.
Yeah, but you know how a green stick, if you try to break it, it's still connected.
Yeah.
And fibrous. Yeah, it's kind of like that. Green stick.
See.
That's what happened. And then I went and played. I went and tried out for the baseball team, and I was like, "You better not tell the coach." And I was like, "I'm gonna play," and I had to catch with my left hand.
Oh.
And they put me in the outfield. First practice, put me in the outfield, and we're doing line drives. And I played for the guy the year before, and so he knew me, and I kept dropping him, and I was like having a really hard time because like it would hit and it would hurt, so it would delay my catch, and so I made it worse, and then I had to wear my brace a lot longer. And the coach was really mad. I made it like 2 or 3 practices before one of my friends was like, "He can't play, coach. Like, his arm is fucked." Like
your friend cared enough to rat you out.
Yeah, I was dropping everything. He's like, "How long did you do it?" And I was like, I told him. And if I would have waited, I could have played. Like that's what they said.
Yeah.
I should have been out of the splint for like 3 weeks later, but I didn't want to wait. Yeah.
Oh, Dylan.
Yeah. So I injured myself a lot. Concussions, broken nose.
See, I never injured myself a lot as a kid. It was more teenager.
I had your car.
Yeah.
That was insane.
Oh, when you got hit by the car?
Yeah.
Did you have any of these, Morgan? Any childhood physical traumatic?
I tore my
stories?
ACL the same leg twice.
That sucks. What were you playing, football or something?
Well, the first time I was playing soccer, the second time I jumped over a fence trying to catch a goat that was trying to run away from our farm, and I decided to try to clear a 5-foot fence. Well, I did a 4-foot fence, my bad. Several sections were 5 foot. And I jumped it, and, I made it, but I didn't think about, hey, fatness is going to land.
Yeah.
Well, I landed in, that knee that was
Superman
already torn,
landing.
just blew out to the point where...
You couldn't even walk.
No, my dad had to drag me, because I'm 200 pounds. Again, he's weak as shit. Had to drag me all the way to the fucking house so I could go to the hospital.
Sucks, man.
I've
It
never
sucks.
had any of these.
I broke one of my fingers.
That's because you
going
stayed
down a hill.
inside.
have
And
a
my
great-
parents just ignored it for like 2 weeks.
Have you ever seen when my finger broke?
Oh god, that's
Oh.
disgusting.
Okay, so Hannah, you know the story, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so you tell the story. I'll pull up the picture.
Okay, so Dylan
If we can, we'll.
was playing
Put it as a
survivalist.
No, it was when we were doing the
Your survivalist
like
training.
martial arts stuff.
Yeah, you were doing survivalist training in martial arts with someone who had been in the military for a long time, and he was teaching you how to do martial arts, and
you blocked wrong or something, right?
You were sparring with someone. I
One of
forget
the
who
other
it was,
students
with the other students, and
who
one
had done
of
it a lot
them-
longer than me.
One of them went to kick, and you went to block, and it did not work out so well.
Yeah, so I like to say that I was trying to be Goku. If any of you have ever seen Dragon Ball Z or Dragon Ball or
You
Dragon
ended up more
Ball
like
GT
Vegeta with his
or
fucking broken arm.
whatever. So anyway, this guy, he was coming in with a teep kick, which is like that front door kicking down kick. If you're familiar with that, that's what that is. It's to kind of like push your opponents away. So I thought this was my chance because I thought I had him. I read it. I had a good read on it. I did everything. I was trying to flip, block, and move up. So that way I was moving his leg upwards to tip him off balance. Because a takedown got you 2 points. So anyway, or 3. I can't remember what we did. Anyway, so I was trying to. I thought I was gonna get him right off the bat because I like I said, I had a read on him, and if you ever done anything like that, you kind of understand. I thought I had it, and he was just a second faster than I thought he would be, or whatever the case may be. But either way, I didn't
Dylan
block.
misjudged
I didn't
it.
block.
Or you were
properly.
slower than you thought.
I was slower. It was more likely. I went to do this block and move upwards. Instead of doing that, I did the big snafu here is that I did something wrong. I did not have a closed hand when I was doing the block, which I should have had, which would have prevented the injury. And I was taught that and did not follow instructions. So I blocked the kick like Goku is the answer, because this guy was like, you know, he's a big fella and he could really hit hard and kick hard, and it was a really good kick. So anyway, I say I blocked the kick like Goku does, with just using his finger, like you're a joke to me type of thing. And except for my finger broke. I don't know if you've ever seen those things where they like make the snap motion, you know, noise, and then after, like, there's like time in between the kick and the anyway. So bayonet fractured. That's what it's called. It's called bayonet fracture, and it's pretty cool.
It was fucking disgusting.
It was gnarly, dude. Not gonna lie.
I got a picture. Hold on. It's fantastic. This was literally right after.
Morgan's reaction.
So essentially, the top section of my index finger was
Hannah's gonna puke.
pulled out, and pushed out and above the other section of my finger. So my finger looked like a bayonet. That's why it's called that, because the top half is over the bottom half, below the second knuckle. Is what I was talking about. Anyway, so I had a fracture from that, and it like
Morgan,
healed fine. Anyway, but
stop.
it works nicely and everything. I had a good doctor, and she fixed me up good. But it was an interesting time and a fun photo. And I went to the ER with no shoes, because we always take our shoes off before we did the thing. The other guys were like, "We'll bring it. You just go down, get it fixed." Because I knew it didn't feel right, and that's because I broke one of those little bones that holds your finger into the place where it's supposed to be. So that was part of the problem when it healed and wanted to twist, and it kept.
Oh,
So
okay, done.
Having a hard time.
Done.